Well, hello friends. Welcome back to another event guide video. Here, ready to just break down the springtime surprise weekend event guide. Really not a whole lot in terms of changes or differences from past years or any other race this Run Disney season. But, still nonetheless, we'll go through this, highlight all the important things and make sure everything, you are all prepared for everything that comes with a Run Disney weekend. So let's get started.
3, 2, 1, go!
So we'll start here on the event guide welcome page. Nothing really here other than just Adam Ball, the Vice President of Run Disney, welcoming you to the weekend. Also highlights the sponsored charity of the weekend, which is Make-A-Wish Central Florida. Yeah, so not a whole lot else there. At the top, you'll see your three tabs. The welcome page, which is this, weekend events and digital expo. You can access the digital expo from the weekend events portion as well, but just know that there's three different tabs up there for you to choose from, right above the logo here for the weekend. As we jump into the weekend events here, you can see that there is a bunch of tabs to choose from. Important information, health and fitness, expo, yoga, then one for each of the races. We have one for the springtime surprise splash, the featured charity of the weekend. There's some discounts at Disney Springs we'll get into in a little bit, and then just a featured thing about sustainability. Nothing too crazy. At the bottom, this is where that digital expo portion will be. Another thing we'll touch on in a little bit as well. But we will start with that important information tab and check out what is in there. So inside this tab, you will find a bunch of different things. Starting with highlighted right here is the costume guidelines. As you know, those changed at the beginning of this season. Just really not, I shouldn't say changed too much, but became a bit more specific, just to further clarify what can and cannot be worn during a Run Disney race. And it's really for everyone's safety. As you go down, we can get into, there is a tab for event waivers. This is digital. Now, people do run into issues and, with their account and stuff like that. There will have printed ones at the expo that you can sign as there as well, but make sure you sign it in your Run Disney account if you are able. Like I said, if not, don't worry. It will be okay, but you can get a paper one at the expo. But there is some more stuff about that in there. Also, check-in pass. Will just mention, it does say that check-in pass for the expo will be available April 15th. This is just something you download or add to your phone. It gives your bib number, if you signed your waiver or not, just some basic information that you show when you go to pick up your bib, and that will help just streamline the process really. Then again, costuming guidelines tab. Over here we have our start group times. I'll jump into that. We'll go into this for each race individually, but this is a one-stop shop for all three races. For this season, they started doing this where the start groups open all at a certain time, and then they each close individually at a certain time. They all have always really done this, but it's never been posted until this season. So this is one tool that they're further trying to help, have runners understand that they need to be in their corrals by a certain time. Just some basic reminders, flag guidelines if there's weather issues or stuff like that. Medical is provided by Advent Health on weather, race day information, race etiquette. Race etiquette will go into stuff like, if you are with a group, don't, be more than two abreast, or if you were a walker, stay to the right or stay to the side, stuff like that. Just simple, race day kind of stuff. At the bottom, there's just an ad for minivan service. This photo pass tab will have the codes for each race. Just a reminder, if you are doing the challenge, you will have to enter each code individually for each race. There is no just one challenge code that does them all, so you have to do it for each race, and then some information on post race as well. But we'll go into each race individually and talk more about a lot of this stuff. As we go back to the weekend events tab, and then we have our health and fitness expo here next that we'll get into: yoga, 5K, 10K, 10 miler. We're going to start with yoga because that actually does come first for this weekend. That comes before the expo, so we will start there. Springtime Surprise Yoga is done at Hollywood Studios in the morning on Thursday, April 18th at 5 a.m. This is a 1-hour yoga experience. Check-in will begin at 4, and check-in will begin at 4:15. Parking lot opens at 4. Security will also open at 4, so don't arrive too early. Stuff like that, and they want you there before 4:45 because then they'll close it off to make sure everybody is inside for 5 a.m. You do get a yoga mat with this experience. You get a bottle of water. Now, transportation is a little bit different. If you're driving, you just drive to Hollywood Studios as you normally would, and that will be available for free. But now, if you are taking a bus, this is where it gets a little bit more tricky. Each resort has a specific pickup time. There's only one bus that comes for yoga. It's not like the races, if you're familiar with the races, that they continually run buses for an extended period of time. This is a one bus pickup for those. So like, for example, All-Star Sports, your bus is at 3:30 and it's going to leave at, once that bus is full, bus leaves and we're done. Theoretically, it won't be full because not many people do yoga. I want to say it's like something like 500 people or something. It's capped pretty small. It's not a big event, maybe 500 to 1,000. I don't know. It's a very small event, so it's not, your buses aren't going to fill up, but they want you, they're only going to have that one bus pickup time. So if you do not get the bus at 3:30, you're kind of out of luck, and won't be able. You'll have to find an Uber or minivan or something to take you at that point. All of the pickup times really are between 3:30 and 3:40. I don't think there's anything later than that. No, going down the list. So just keep that in mind. But really, it's just simplifying things because there's not that many people that do this event, so they just want to make sure there's only one bus. They don't need as many bus drivers and stuff for this event. But yeah, that will be Springtime Surprise Yoga. Now, going back to the main page here, the weekend events, we'll get into the Health and Fitness Expo. Now, of course, this is one of the main events of the weekend. A lot of people make the expo a whole kind of thing, including myself. It's definitely a fun place to kind of hang out, see vendors, see friends, and enjoy the weekend. It's kind of, it's basically the official start to the weekend. Expo Day on Thursday, April 18th, will open at 10 a.m. and run till 7 p.m. Day 2 will be noon to 6 p.m. That's on Friday. And then you'll have Saturday, the last day of the expo, will be 11 to 3. Much shorter day because you only have the 10 miler the day after that. Kind of, less people. So they don't keep it open as long. But anyways, we'll get into here all the information down below here. Starting with the virtual queue process. Now, this has been instituted, I think, for 2 or 3 full years now. And this is how to get merchandise at the expo. Only on day 1, I should add. This is utilized for day 1 merchandise because day 1 is typically the busiest day. So it's kind of necessary. And so at 8:30, the virtual queue will open. And if you were within 45 miles of Walt Disney World, you'll be able to join that virtual queue. And then you'll be given a group number. And then when your group number is called, you'll be able to go in. They'll start calling numbers they say 10 a.m. Typically, they start calling slightly earlier than that. Tends to be like 9:30, 9:45. And then they'll load you up into the queue and, let you in at 10 a.m. But that's just know that that is for merchandise access on day 1. Now, if you come on day 2 or day 3, this isn't being utilized, and you can just walk right into the merchandise area. So just keep in mind. Now, Club Run Disney, I do want to add Platinum and Gold are able to go into merchandise early. Now, as always, is no transportation for Club Run Disney to get their early access. So if you are Club, you will need to be able to get that ahead of time. And but Platinum is able to get in at 8:30 to the merchandise, and then Gold at 9 a.m. So another thing to keep in mind, if you are at Platinum or Club or Gold, Club Run Disney, that access is available as always, but their transportation will not be available for that. Again, another tab on event waivers, similar to the reminders or the important information tab. Race bib and shirt pickup, just some basic information there, nothing too crazy, saying that each runner must pick up their own, can't pick up for other people and stuff like that. Speaking of transportation will begin a half hour before Expo open time. So for example, on Thursday, it will start running at 9:30, and then it will run for a half hour after Expo close time. So for example, 7:30 on Thursday. That is the same for each day, 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after. Again, another ad for minivans. And then a map of the complex here. Now, this is same layout as always. We have our A is the Advent Health Arena. That is where your merchandise is going to be. B is the Athletics Center. That is where your race shirt pickup is going to be. However, you need to go to C first because that's where you get your bib that has the tab on it that you tear off to get your shirts. So make sure before you get your shirts, go to C, then go to B. Just, some labeling stuff there. But yeah, and then we'll move into some closer up maps of each area. Here, this is the Advent Health Arena. This is where you'll get your merchandise. So this is a huge building. This whole area will be filled with merchandise. Then they'll have one section for standard checkout, and then this other section here will be for mobile checkout. They have been really trying to push the mobile checkout, so they made the mobile checkout much bigger these last few weekends than it has previously been. If you did pre-purchase merchandise, which was an option, there is a section over there. Unfortunately, they have been making you also on day one still get in the virtual queue in order to access this. So just keep that in mind. If you did pre-purchase, you'll still have to get in the queue just to be able to get inside this building, because the building's blocked off for those that have the queue numbers. Then over here they'll have the 3.1, 6.2, 10 mile, and 19.3 kind of backdrops that you can take pictures with. And that's that. That's the Advent Health Arena. We'll go into the Athletics Center. This is where the vendors will be. Right now we don't have that full list yet. That will come usually a few days before the weekend, and that's finalized. So definitely check back here for the full list of vendors. At the back of the building will be the 5K, 10K shirts on one side, and the other side will be the 10 miler challenge shirts. If you have to exchange your shirts for a different size, there's a section at the back that is for that as well. There will be an info booth towards the front with more information if you need it from Run Disney. There's also the Run Disney Showcase area, which will be where they have like the medals and stuff that you can check out from the different weekends. Stuff like that will be at the front of the building. And that is the Athletics Center. Now, finally, the State Farm Fieldhouse. This is where you'll get your bibs. So they'll let you in the front. You go down around the stairs. There'll be an area for, like I said, the waiver signing. If you weren't able to do that, that will be right as you get to the bottom of the stairs. And then once you enter in, you'll have a challenge section, a 10K, 10 miler, and 5K section for each bib. Obviously, if you are doing the challenge, you just need to go to the challenge one. But if you're doing individual races, you need to go to those respective spots. There will be an area for runner relations, a runner for athletes with disabilities, and an area for Run Disney account services. So if you have a problem with your online account, that will be that one. If you have a problem, say, with your proof of time or something like that, that's when you would go to runner relations. And then towards the back, as you exit when you go to exit, there will be characters and backdrops set up there to take with PhotoPass. So that will be available for you in this the field house and the bib pickup area. So that is basically the expo. There's not a whole lot else to it, but a lot of people do, like I said, do like to hang out. There'll be food carts, and the ESPN restaurant there will be open. A lot of people like to hang out for a while, meet up with different friends and groups and stuff like that. So definitely, obviously, if Walt Disney World is a vacation spot for most people, so this takes up time. But if you can, definitely hang out, see what it's all about, stuff like that. The expo is a great time for that. So then that takes us into our first event of the weekend, or I shouldn't say first event, but first race of the weekend, and that will be the 5K. Neverland 5K tab, as we enter in there, that will take place on Friday, April 19th, beginning at 5 a.m. We can go into starting with the start group and opening and closing times. That's the first tab. Start groups will open at 3:45. Group A will close at 4:40, B at 4:55, C 5:05, D 5:15, and then Group E will be as that final group just as they clear the people out. Then that will close as well. Obviously, if you do miss your corral, you are allowed to go into the next corral. So don't worry. You'll just be pushed back. Another race etiquette that's the same as before. Race reminders, spectator viewing. Go into that real quick. Now, for the 5K, the only spots you can spectate are the start and finish line areas of this race. There's no on-course spectating for the 5K. That's the same for any 5K that really Disney does. So if you have people coming to watch, they can only see you at the start line or at the finish line. And then transportation. This is always an important one. Transportation from all Walt Disney World resorts plus Swan, Dolphin, Shades of Green will begin at 3 a.m. That will run till 5 a.m. for the start portion. Make sure you definitely want to make sure you're on a bus well before 5 a.m. Just keep that in mind. A lot of times they'll even start loading the buses prior to 3 a.m., but they don't necessarily take off before 3 a.m. They kind of hold it and wait until that 3 a.m. point, and then they'll let you go. But they'll let you on the bus at least prior to that. And then post-race, buses will be running from 6:30 to 8:30. Big reason for that is because the course crosses where the buses go. So if you are, say, an A and you finish within 30 minutes or something, you're going to have to wait for a bit because they're still letting off people on the course, and the buses can't use that roadway yet until the course is clear and cleaned up. So just keep that in mind. For this race and the 10K, there will be no monorail transportation, so you will have to utilize a bus if you are staying at any Disney resort. Bus transportation. Parking is available, of course, if you are driving, and that is complimentary. Let's go to start and staging first, since we're talking about transportation. Parking lots, they will, usually they'll have people there guiding people where to park and stuff like that. If you are taking a resort bus, that will be in the normal resort bus drop-off area, which is over here, and then you will go through the main entrance to Epcot, or main security entrance to Epcot, I should say, and that is where security will be. And then they'll walk you down around, past the finish line, around back to the reunion lot. That is where the stage starts. The stage will be with the DJ and stuff. There'll be characters and stuff like that is over there as well. And then your start line will be to the left of that reunion lot, and all your start groups in there. So keep that in mind. And the post-race buses will be over in this area for that. So yeah, keep in mind that they will have like food trucks and stuff in here. Morning they'll have coffee and whatnot. Post-race, food and beverage as well. All in this reunion lot. The start group area is only for runners, so if you have spectators, make sure you say goodbye to them before you go into the start groups, because they will not be allowed in that area, but they can be on the reunion lot, just not in that start group area. So definitely some things of note there. And then as well, for more start staging information, they do have another kind of zoomed in of this area. Like I said, the reunion lot, they'll have food and beverage there. There's usually a food truck in this area as well, just past the finish. They will have a water table in the start group area. And then, like I said, they'll have entertainment by the stage. If you need AWD stuff, there is only for gold sticker AWDs. Your check-in is in the start group area. The gear bag check will be available as always in that reunion lot as well. So just some things of note, all standard. Nothing of this has changed in several years now, and kind of how they set this area up. And that takes us into the course itself. So if we take this here, this is a very standard Walt Disney World 5K course. This course has not changed in years. I should say, this season there were some very minor changes, but nothing. Overall, the course is very similar, very much the same as it always has been. You start in the Epcot parking lot, take a right as you come out, and go around the parking lot. There's typically a character here backstage somewhere. Sometimes it's a little sooner in this area, sometimes it's a little further past this area. All depends on how they kind of set it up. But that takes us, mile 1 will be just before you enter Epcot, which is right here. Then you'll go underneath Test Track and then right into Epcot between Mexico and Norway. And then you'll make your way around World Showcase. And as you make your way around World Showcase, there will be only one water stop on the 5K. That will be in the American Adventure Pavilion outside there. And then you'll continue your way around World Showcase. Mile 2 will be just as you leave, or just are leaving World Showcase. You will head back up through the center of Epcot in the newly opened World Celebration area. They don't have an updated map yet, just yet, but you will make your way through this center, past the Walt statue. Usually there is photo pass there to take photos with the Walt statue. Back through between Connections and Creations in World Celebration. You'll go right around the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind entrance, back out between Mission Space and Test Track, behind Wonders of Life Pavilion, and back towards where is the finish, which was moved this season slightly. So if you're used to the old finish, used to be kind of up here in this area. Now it just kind of moved over to this cast member lot over there. So not really a big change, but just keep that in mind. It's just to the right of where it used to be. And yeah, so that is the 5K. Now, a couple things of note for the 5K. Now, a lot of people always are wondering about the bathrooms. They will obviously have porta potties pre and post race in those areas. However, for in-park bathrooms, there is an in-park bathroom in the Norway Pavilion. That is always a popular stop. There's also a big bathroom in Germany that is a popular stop. There is a bathroom in the American Adventure Pavilion that is a big popular stop. There will be a bathroom at Morocco as well. And then a bathroom at the United Kingdom Pavilion. Then as you continue around, there should be the best bathroom right by mile 2. It's just past. It's now used as a festival booth. It used to be the temporary Starbucks while they were building the new one. But there is a bathroom right over there that should be open. And then there really won't be one until you get... there will be one just past the Connections and Creations area there. There's a bathroom right here, kind of where the mouse is, if you can see that. There's a bathroom there just before, and that will be your last in-park bathroom before you leave and go to the finish. So keep that in mind. If you have to make a bathroom stop, probably about mile 2.5 will be your last one before the finish. And that is the 5K. So then that takes us to the 10K, our next race of the weekend. Again, 5 a.m. start. Race, our start group starting points again open at 5:45 or 3:45, I should say. 4:40 for A, 4:55 for B, 5:05 for C, 5:15 for D, and then start line clear for E again. Again, race etiquette, race reminders. Spectating. Now this one's a little different. I will go over that in the course map, but they do only say start and finish line officially on the spectating guide, but I will show you how that is not necessarily true in the course map. The 10K is timed, so you do have a race results portion and runner tracking. Runner tracking won't be usually available until just a day or two before the race weekend, so check back here a day or two out, or as you're flying down or something like that, to get race day tracking information, and that's where results will then be after the race. Transportation for the 10K. This tab is not currently working on the Expo or the event guide, but it is again 3 a.m. It usually is a little or to 5 a.m. for the start transportation to the 10K. Post race, usually that again will be like 10:30 or 6:30 or 6 o'clock. So right in there for when that post race transportation begins again, and then usually is a half hour longer. So I think what was it, 8:30? 8:30 for the 5K finish. Usually it goes to like 9 for that 10K transportation at the finish. Road closures, because this race does go outside of the park. There are some road closures. Minimal for the 10K because there's only a certain section of the roadway we use, but if you are driving, do take note of this. Certain sections will close beginning at 3 a.m. All the way, and then will stay closed. Some sections stay closed all the way to 9 a.m. So do keep that in mind if you're driving or getting around this area at this time. Something to keep note of. Again, photo pass, minivans. Start and staging is the same. I'm not going to go into that portion again, but we'll go into the course now. Course is, of course, standard. Again, there's nothing really different from this course to last year's course to many of the other 10K courses that Walt Disney World uses. There are some slight difference. They have basically 2 10K courses that they use. But this one is the one that only goes into Epcot and the Epcot resorts. The other one does dip into Hollywood Studios for a hot second, very quickly, but this one is just the one that goes to the Epcot resorts. So you will start in the Epcot parking lot again, same start for all 3 races, but instead of going right this time, you will take a left and you will go on the roadway. Your first full 2 miles will be all roadway. Now, it's not necessarily a bad thing. They usually do put a couple characters out here on this at these portions. Usually there's one character just before you're going through the Epcot Toll Plaza. So somewhere in this area here, there will be a character. Then as you go to mile 1, there's usually another character over there by around that mile 1 marker. Sometimes it's a little before, sometimes it's after. Sometimes they have one before and one after. I don't know, but they'll be, so expect entertainment in those spots. Then you'll go up the overpass, around and back down. Typically there is a character over in this area too, just before mile 2. Again, things change weekend to weekend slightly, but just some things to keep in mind and look forward to as you're doing those 10K. Then you'll head back towards Epcot, and this will take you backstage behind the Living Seas Pavilion, the Land Pavilion. Then you'll go into Epcot between the Land and the Imagination Pavilion. This is where you'll get your first in-park bathroom. Right as you enter the park, to your right at the Imagination Pavilion will be an in-park bathroom. Don't fret though, there will be another one very quickly as you make your way down that pathway. Like I had mentioned earlier on the 5K course, there is a bathroom on that pathway. Just as you enter World Showcase, there will be a bathroom there. Then you will make your way just inside World Showcase. You'll pass Canada and go out backstage again by the World Showplace Pavilion. It's a multi-use space, but you'll go back there, and that this will be your first water stop of the race. And I take that back. Second water stop. There was a water stop earlier, because there's 3 water stops on this course. So that's your second water stop. No food stops on this course though. If you need that fuel, there are no food stops on 5K or 10K courses. So bring your own if that is something you do need. But anyways, you'll go backstage behind the Skyliner and then up through International Gateway area towards the Beach Club and Yacht Club. You'll run past there. Now there is a bathroom here, but I would not necessarily recommend this one because it's not always open. Sometimes it's locked. So it's kind of hit or miss with that one. But there is one there. Now this is where the spectating also gets a little different. Yacht and Beach Club, Boardwalk, Swan and Dolphin, these areas are all accessible, and especially if you're staying there, are all open, as normal business. But they do consider these quiet zones because it's 5 a.m. in the morning and people are sleeping and not necessarily here for the race weekend. So they're not official spectating spots typically by Run Disney. But people are out there spectating. You just can't be, with cowbells and screaming and doing all that kind of stuff because they will make you stop. Because like I said, it is a resort. People are sleeping and getting ready for their days at the parks. You'll make your way around the Epcot resorts down past the boardwalk. There's usually a lot of people along the boardwalk out there spectating. Then you'll go back through International Gateway into the parks. There is a bathroom at International Gateway. So that one is just before you go through the actual gates. I'll be to the left there. You'll go up through and then into World Showcase again. Past France, another real bathroom in Morocco. Around your last water stop will be in the American Adventure Pavilion. And then there's also a real bathroom there as well. Doesn't want me to zoom in anymore. But, again, then Germany, real bathroom. Going past China, real bathroom in Norway. You'll go past Mexico. Now, there is a bathroom here at the Odyssey just after Mexico. Now, it's kind of not the closest on course. You have to go over that water bridge, and then it's over there. It's accessible and should be open, but again, it's not the closest to the course, so just keep that in mind if you are needing a bathroom at that point. You'll go up through into World Celebration once again. Won't really go into World Celebration at all, just past Connections Creations through there. Again, bathroom on your right-hand side as you're going past Connections Creations. That one's also not the closest to the actual course, so another thing to keep in mind. But you'll go past the entrance to the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, past Mission Space, back around behind Test Track, behind Mission Space, behind Wonders of Life, and out towards the finish. Finish in the same spot as the other races. Nothing new there. So yeah, 10K, pretty standard. Not a whole lot different change there. But yeah, keep in mind, I do want to note, I didn't note this on the 5K, but I would say it's probably more of an issue on the 5K than it is a 10K, because people don't get as spaced out on the 5K as they do on the 10K. But there can be a bottleneck in this area by the Guardians entry if there's a lot of people at that time, so because it gets narrow, so that can be problematic. So just keep that in mind. Slow down. Watch what you're doing if it's dark, kind of stuff. But yeah, that is the 10K. Not a whole lot else different there. Again, all the same tabs. Start and staging are all the same. Photo pass again. But yeah, that is the springtime 10K. And then for the final race of the weekend is the Hakuna Matata 10 miler. Start groups will have a slightly different times for this one. They will open up at 3:30, so slightly earlier than the 5K, 10K. A will close at 4:40, B at 5 o'clock, C at 5:15, D at 5:30, and then that final group once everyone is cleared out. Again, race etiquette, race reminders, spectator viewing, runner tracking and race results, and this tab, transportation. Now this is going to get slightly different than the 5K and 10K. Transportation will once again begin at 3. Historically, though, they do begin earlier for that Sunday race. So do keep that in mind. Maybe just get out there a little bit sooner. They may start you a little bit earlier, and especially because once they talk about monorail transportation, that does start a half hour earlier than the buses are listed here. But so just always just be ahead of the game essentially. You don't want to be late. This one is also 3 a.m. to 4:30. They want you out there before 5 a.m. So there is that. Finish line transportation will begin at 6 and run till 10 a.m. So again, a little bit longer than, because obviously it's a longer race, a little bit longer than those 5K and 10K days. So if you are staying in a Magic Kingdom resort, so this is the Polynesian, the Contemporary, the Grand Floridian, those three, you will need to utilize the monorail for the 10 miler. This is only for the 10 miler. They are not using the monorail for the 5K or the 10K. If you are, so if you're staying at those resorts, you have to use the monorail. The resort monorail will take you to the TTC. That will begin at 2:30. And then once at the TTC, you will transfer monorails to the Epcot monorail, and that will take you to the race. So that there is that if you are staying at those three resorts. If you're at another Magic Kingdom resort, like say Shades of Green or the Wilderness Lodge, those will use buses. So only if you're staying at those three monorail resorts will you use this. That also includes, of course, the villas of Glen Floridian or Bay Lake Tower, stuff like that. Those will also use the monorail. But yeah, that's transportation. Nothing too crazy there. Parking is, of course, available as all the rest of the races. Spectator viewing. Again, this one lists just the start and finish. I will get into a little bit about how there might be some other areas you can spectate as well. But officially, they only list the start and finish for spectating. Road closures. Road closures, because this is a longer race and there's more time on the road, there are more road closures. Some roads will begin being closed at 3 a.m. and some will stay closed until 9:45 a.m. or 10 a.m. So keep that in mind. If you are driving to the race or if you are here at Walt Disney World during this time, keep these things in mind as you're getting around, especially in two buses. Walt Disney World buses will have to follow these things. If you're getting the parks and stuff, they will have to use alternate routes. So it may take you longer to get to the parks and whatnot as well. So just keep that in mind. Again, minivans, photo pass, codes. Start and staging, again, is the same. Nothing new there. Let's get into the 10-miler course. Now, if you have run the 10-miler in 2022 or 2023, it's the same course, other than some slight changes that I will mention, like the finish. And then, of course, there's a little out and back here by Guardians, or like the Guardians little portion we've done. Very, very slight, subtle changes. Nothing overly different about these courses. But for the 10-miler, you will start in the Epcot parking lot per usual. And unlike the 10K, you'll take a right, just like the 5K, and go around the parking lot. Then you'll go backstage behind Epcot, underneath Test Track, and then into World Showcase. And just like many others, all the bathroom stops are still available. Again, in Norway, Germany, American Adventure, Morocco, and then UK will be your bathroom stops around World Showcase for real bathrooms. And then you will exit Epcot. You'll take that backstage just like you did for the 10K and go back through behind the Skyline Station International Gateway, and then you'll go around the boardwalk the opposite way. So you'll be going a little bit differently. The 10K takes you, that's how you're going into Epcot. This one takes you out of Epcot. So kind of get the reverse of that. So you'll go around the boardwalk then. This will be your other spectating spot. Boardwalk, of course, if you're staying in that area, easy access to spectate there. But keep that in mind. Again, will be a quiet zone at this point because it's just after mile 2. So it's still pretty early. They won't want you screaming and stuff like that, waking up the paying guests. Forgot to mention, the first water stop will be in the American Adventure. Then your second water stop will be in that International Squeezeway area. This gets narrow in here, so if you are back of the Packer or if it's crowded. This does get narrow. It will, there's points where it can be only 3 people wide maybe, and it gets tight in there. So just keep that in mind. Please, if you're walking, stay to the side. Let the runners through the middle so we can, you can access, everybody can have a pleasant experience, I should say. Mile 3 will be just at the Hollywood Studios bus stop. Now, in past years, they'll see some spectators that will get in and go into this area before the Hollywood Studios entrance. It's not a hot spot because it's hard to access, but there are typically some that are there. There's usually a character in this bus stop area as well, so something to look forward to there. But then you'll go into Hollywood Studios, and the good thing about this race is this is the race with the most Hollywood Studios time out of any of the Run Disney courses. So you'll enter and you'll go in through down Hollywood Boulevard. There will be a real bathroom just as you enter the park, right at the entrance there on Hollywood Boulevard. Then you'll come in, go around Echo Lake, and once you go around Echo Lake, and you'll come by the Mickey Shorts Theater and Star Tours and Indiana Jones, stuff like that. There is another real bathroom right there as well. And then you come through, as you can see here. I'll go into the zoomed in portion here, a little easier to see. You'll go down Grand Avenue, past the Muppets, and then into Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. You'll run all the way through Galaxy's Edge. There are real bathrooms in there as well. Not right on the course, but just off if you need those. Then into Toy Story Land. Right when you get into Toy Story Land, there will be a bathroom right just past the entrance on your right-hand side. Then all the way through Toy Story Land, out the other entrance. You'll go past down by the Pixar Place area, into the I forget what they call it now, like animation courtyard, and there will be usually sometimes there's usually there's a character out in front of the Chinese theater, Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway, right in front there. Historically, it's been Mickey and Minnie themselves, so keep that in mind. Just past mile 4 as you go past the Chinese theater, then you go down just through Hollywood Boulevard again before reaching Sunset Boulevard. You'll take a left on Sunset, go up the street there. There will be a real bathroom over there as well, on your right-hand side, and then you'll go past Tower of Terror before leaving. There will be a bathroom by Tower of Terror as well, and you'll leave the park, and that is your park time until you get towards the finish again. There will be a water stop, or I should say there will be another bathroom actually by the Fantasmic Theater, because you go past Tower of Terror up into the Fantasmic Theater area. There'll be a real bathroom there as well, and then just past the theater will be a water stop. And then you'll go outside on the roadway, do an on-ramp. This way you'll be going down instead of up, though, which is nice. And that's mile 5, and then you'll go to your one and only food stop on this course, which is just before mile 6. There'll be a water stop right after that as well. Then this time you'll do an on-ramp going up, because when you go down, you got to go back up. And then, so then you'll continue on roadways back towards Epcot. This portion you'll be familiar with from the 10K. If you ran the 10K, there will be another water stop, kind of about 7.5 up there. Mile 8, you'll be heading back towards Epcot into the bus station area. Now, this is another spectating spot. This is not necessarily the start and finish, but if you are in the start and finish area, it's easy to access. A lot of people like to spectate in this bus stop area right there. So there is that if you are a spectator and want to, have another area before the finish. Then you will come back into Epcot backstage. That'll be your final water stop here, just backstage behind the Living Seas. Then you'll go behind the land and enter into the park once again by the Imagination Pavilion. There will be a real bathroom in the Imagination Pavilion right on the right there as you enter. You'll go down that narrow path to the World Showcase. But you really won't go into World Showcase at all. There will be that real bathroom there as well. You'll go between. Now this in the other time we did this, I believe it was Wine and Dine. You will go between the two shops here, World Travelers, and I forget what the other one is called. But there's two shops right as you enter World Showcase in the front there. But you'll go down the path between those and back around. It does get narrow in there. It can get congested. So, if you're around a lot of walkers, if you're in the back, those more crowded areas, that's one spot that can get crowded and congested. But then you'll go back up through into World Celebration between Connections and Creations, and then around up towards the Guardians entrance once again, past Mission Space, then go backstage. Behind everything, you'll see the choir backstage, and you'll hit the finish, and that is your 10-miler. Is the only weekend with a 10-miler, so it's the only time you get to see this course all year. Like I said, has the most Hollywood Studios park time of any course, but also has its fair share of road time. So, yeah, that is the 10-miler. There's not a whole lot else in terms of races. Post-race is always a fun time. Lots of people like to hang out, characters, get character photos, meet up with friends, reunite with your families. I am always there in the post-race area for pretty much closing it down, typically, with the beer tent, of course, or if you're more into ciders, or they have champagne typically as well. That will be available. See my beloved friend, cast member Hala, as she greets everybody at the beer tent. And yeah, so that's the 10-miler. There is one more event, though, for this weekend, and that is the Springtime Surprise Splash. The first time they've ever done this for a race weekend. So this is an add-on ticket event held at Typhoon Lagoon. So this will be on Sunday night, beginning at 7. Now, if you have a ticket, you can get in as early as 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock, I believe, or usually I believe 6 o'clock is when the park closes to regular guests, and then the party will begin for those with the Springtime Supplies Splash tickets at 7. Ticket includes like ice cream treats like Mickey bars and Mickey sandwiches and stuff like that, popcorn, and then fountain drinks, Coke, Diet Coke, Sprite, stuff like that will be available included. But then they'll also have other places open if you want to buy some more substantial food or adult beverages. There will be a DJ, some characters around. All the water slides and stuff like that will be open for use. Now, the one thing I did want to touch on, especially with this, is transportation. This won't utilize Run Disney transportation. You will have to use normal Disney transportation, which is not the easiest when it comes to getting to and from this water park. If you are at a Disney Resort hotel, you will take a bus, the Disney Springs bus, which it will say Disney Springs / Typhoon Lagoon, but you'll take that bus to Disney Springs, and then there will be a Typhoon Lagoon stop at the Disney Springs, and you'll have to transfer buses to the Typhoon Lagoon bus at Disney Springs, and then go to Typhoon Lagoon. So you do have an added stop in there. So it's not the easiest to get to. I suspect a lot of people will be utilizing Uber or Lyft or minivans for this instead. But the bus service will then end 60 minutes after park closing. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, transportation, not Run Disney, but normal Disney transportation for Typhoon Lagoon Springtime Surprise Splash. I am going to this, excited to check it out. First time they've done this. So we'll see what it's like. That is going to do it for the weekend events. Like I had mentioned before, there's a tab for the featured charity, which is Make-A-Wish. Now, it's Disney Springs discounts. This is something they've done pretty much every weekend. if you wear your medal or have your bib on you or something. All the places listed here will offer discounts. So, for example, Chef Art Smith's Homecoming Restaurant, you'll get a 10% discount. CityWorks will be a buy one get one beer option. Everglazed Donuts is 10% off. Haleo 10% off. Rainforest Cafe free appetizer. Planet Hollywood 15% off, so a little bit better there. Terralina does 20% off. Wine Bar George is buy one get one free wine. That's on tap. Then there's also some shopping discounts, like Columbia Sportswear 20% off. House of Blues gift shop 10% off. Stuff like that. Then there's also a discount, I believe, on Drawn to Life, which is the Cirque du Soleil show in Disney Springs. So if you're looking at taking a show, there's also a discount on that as well. But again, just show your bib or your medal to get those. But yeah, that is it for that, really. And then, as I mentioned before, the digital expo portion, this is really just all event sponsors. Sometimes there's a slight discount in there or something for these sponsors, but it's really just an advertisement for you to check out those places. Not a whole lot else to those. But yeah, that is the Springtime Surprise Event Guide. I will be there, all 3 races, Expo, Splash Party, for everything. Not yoga, though. I'm not doing yoga. But it should be a lot of fun. Excited to close out this Run Disney season before we start another one. But yeah, definitely, if you bought me, say hi. And hope to see you there at Springtime Surprise. I'm excited. We are less than 2 weeks away from the last race weekend of the Run Disney season. So we'll see you later.